Consultants here at Diamond, and we're here in our busiest season of the year. We've officially hit that point of the year where everything is firing. You have your marketing is live, your team is trained, your schedule is packed. We've pulled all the levers. Now, the question becomes, how do we turn momentum into money? Because busy doesn't always mean profitable. And what separates a high performing practice from an average one isn't how full the schedule looks, it's how much of that traffic actually converts into patient journeys. So, I want to tell you about a practice I worked with a few years ago. They were spending over $20,000 every single month on advertising. Every lead source was firing social ads, Google, influencers, text campaigns. From the outside, it looked like a money making machine. But when we actually tracked it, less than 5% of those leads turned into paying patients, just 5%. And that means that for every 100 people walking through the door, near 95 left without a patient journey. So the issue wasn't marketing. It wasn't lead flow. The issue was conversion and rebooking. Now, the team didn't have a sales problem. They had a belief problem. And they didn't know how to help someone come and cross that line from curious to committed. So think about your own practice for a second. How many opportunities are you sitting on right now that one confident conversation could become a treatment revenue and conversion? Sales really gets a bad reputation because it's often misunderstood. Without revenue, nothing else flows. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. The most successful injectors, estheticians, and owners I've worked with don't see themselves as selling anything. They see themselves as guiding people towards transformation. So when someone sits in front of you, they've already have the desire and they already want what you have. They already have those pain points. What they don't yet have is that belief that the decision is the right one and belief that you are the right person to help get them there. Your job isn't to convince someone of anything, it's to align and to not to push, but illuminate the options that you have with your expertise. And this is what happens and separates providers who generate a consistent 40, 60, $80,000 a month to those who are stuck at 15. The ones at that top have learned how to turn their critical confidence and clinical confidence into emotional leadership. They make patients feel safe saying yes. So let's talk about what the conversion framework looks like. Let's step back and look at the macro view of what drives conversion. You have connection, which is that emotional bridge that makes people feel seen and understood. You have confidence, the professional authority and conviction that creates safety. If you have ever been in one of our sales trainings with one of our senior consultants here at Diamond, you have heard the term authority building statement many, many times. And then thirdly, they have clarity. It's the plan, the timeline, and the next steps that remove the hesitation. When any of these things are missing, conversion collapses. No matter how great your marketing or how great your injector skill is, the patient does not move forward. So here's a challenge for you and your team this season. I want you to look at your consultations through this lens. Were you strong? Where are you losing momentum? And where are you rushing instead of connecting? What does a high conversion really look like? In a high converting environment, every patient feels grounded, certain, and collaborative. There is no chasing, no discounting, no panic energy. We're not apologizing for our price. We are holding strong in our convictions. The provider is leading with education, not persuasion. The front desk follows up with consistency, not desperation. And trust me, I know everyone's been there. And the entire team speaks the same language of confidence and care. And I'm going to repeat this one more time. Everybody who stepped through the door already wants what you have. You just have to sell them on the confidence of who you are as a provider and as a clinic. This alignment is what builds trust, and trust is what converts. So energy sells long before logic ever does. People can feel when you're confident, and they can feel when you're uncertain. You could have the perfect protocol, the most beautiful menu, but if your tone or energy wavers, the client is going to hesitate. So before you ever talk about treatments, start with you and who you are. Who are your beliefs, your conviction, your presence? That's what the patient is buying. The patient is not buying Botox or a hydrofacial. They're buying their experience. They're buying how you make them feel. I tell teams all the time, marketing gets you the attention, but it's your conviction that is going to get you to the commitment. You cannot outsource belief, and you can only embody it. We have our marketing teams that are filling our books, getting everything in there. But if you're not converting and using that last puzzle piece, then it's all for naught. So I want you to think about reframing your consultation. Let's reframe what the consultation actually is. It's not an information dump. It's not a service menu walkthrough. It's an emotional decision-making space. The most effective injectors don't overwhelm with details and units and syringes. They lead with simplicity and clarity. They focus on the transformation and the dream, not just the transaction. And they understand that the patient doesn't need every answer right now. What they need is certainty that they found the right guide. They want you to tell them and guide them and take them on this journey together. So I want you to think about that. You're not closing a sale, you're inviting someone into a relationship. So we're going to ground this into a real world workflow now. Where in your process does belief fall apart? Are your consults too clinical, too rushed, or too focused on features instead of outcomes? Does your follow-up feel like service or sales? And are your injectors confident in recommending full treatment plans instead of piecemeal options? I want each of you to walk away today and identify one single gap in your conversion flow, one place where confidence slips or clarity gets lost. And then I want you to decide how you'll close that gap this week. Because micro shifts repeated with consistency lead to massive financial change. And I want to really go into this season remembering this. All the marketing in the world can't fix what belief hasn't built. We can't rely on that to fill our books 100% of the time. We need to convert and rebook, which just gets us to my next KPI. Rebooking rates are so critical. They may be one of the top 5 most critical KPIs that we track. Did you know that a 5% rebooking rate increases revenue by 20 to 25%? It is less expensive to do your targeted patient outreach with a higher conversion rate than it is to acquire a brand new patient. So when we have all of these puzzle pieces working together, we have our marketing, we have our targeted patient outreach, we have our clientele that are members. All of these puzzle pieces need to work symbiotically so that everything can flow together. They are all equally as important. You've done the work to get the people through the door. And now the only question really is will you meet the opportunity with certainty? Are you going to be confident in your treatment plans? Are you going to know that you are the best and you are the one who can guide people through what can be truly a very scary consultation? Marketing fills the chair, but you fill your schedule. And so this is where all of these puzzle pieces need to be aligned. one of the things that I always talk about is when I see people who have a rebooking rate in the 20%, 30%. A healthy KPI target for that is 70%, and that's on the low end. So we really want to make sure that not only are we converting our consultations, but we're also creating them for the future. And this is something that no matter whether it's the holiday season or the summer, we want to make sure that we are consistently adding to this and consistently rebooking, consistently being confident in our conversations and our consultations, because people are not buying Botox. They're just not. They're buying the dream and the transformation that goes along with this. I had an injector one time, and she was only trained on Botox and Sculptra. Those are the only two things. The only things that she was selling, obviously, were those two products. She sold more Sculptra in a year than I have ever seen an injector sell before, because she was confident in it. She was so confident in selling this one thing. She knew it back, right, upside down, sideways. She knew everything about it. And she was just so confident in her ability. And little did anybody know that was the only treatment she knew how to do. And she ended up becoming the highest grossing revenue injector in a very busy practice, because all she sold were $1,800 treatment plans, hour after hour after hour. And not one person would ever say, oh, she doesn't know how to do this. If somebody would ask her to do their lips, she would say, oh, I'm going to send you to my specialist who does lips. I'm the specialist on Sculptra. This was just, a lot of it was, a little bit of faking, but most of this was where she had that confidence and that belief in herself and in the treatment for those clients, that everything else fell to the wayside. And she was so incredibly successful. So I want you to think about, in your own practice, is there a specialist? Is there someone who can really take the ball running, whether it be with a device, whether it be with one specific type of filler or one area or some laser that we're doing, Morpheus, for example? Who is that specialist? Who is that confident person who can go in there and convert all of your marketing leads, all of the people that marketing has put on your schedule? How do we get them to that next level? And so if you want to have a more in-depth sales training with any of your consultants, myself included, we are happy to dive into that and really do team trainings. We can specialize them for events. We can navigate them in the best way possible. They're all custom for your team, right? Everyone is unique and everyone has their different challenges. So I really want to focus today on navigating from, we have everything else. We can't rely on just one aspect or two aspects. It all has to plug in together. So let's see who we have here. We have Karen and Patrice, Gary, Jules. Let's see. Do we have any questions so far? All right. All right. Any questions for the group? Okay, Instagram viewers. Oh, we have a lot today. The Coastal Esthetician, Essential Aesthetics, Dr. Luce, Moni, Gabby. I love this. I love all these people here. So if you or your team want to have an extended sales training with any of your consultants, we are absolutely happy to do that. This is one of those things you can type in here, Diamond Sales Training, and we will customize this to your practice, to exactly what you're selling, what we're targeting, and it will be absolutely fantastic. Okay, questions. How do we get one person who's not on track with the team to navigate this? So, okay, this is a great question. You have most of your team players are triggered, they're going, they're firing on all cylinders, and we have a couple stragglers. That is okay. We can retarget them. We can look through our KPIs and we can see exactly what they're struggling with, what they're succeeding with, and then we can narrow that down and we can maximize the good and minimize what we're struggling with and turn that around so that it works well for them. And people learn in different ways. One of the things that I always tell people to do is to role play and to videotape yourself while you're doing this. This is awkward. It can be uncomfortable, but I want you to get two people from your practice and have one portray the client, one portray the consultant, and walk through it. You know all the questions that people are going to ask. So I want you to walk through it and I want you to videotape yourselves and I want you to navigate it and look together because there are so many things that you're going to notice about yourself that really, really change your idea of things. Comfort does not create change. And if you make clients or prospective clients feel too comfortable, they never move forward because comfort is where indecision truly lives, right? Our role isn't to make clients comfortable with doing nothing. Our role is to make them comfortable with taking action. And in aesthetics, we're not pushing products. We are offering a transformation of confidence, beauty, self-worth. This is bigger than Botox or filler or microneedling. It's really something that's life-changing. I asked a client about a year ago to save notes that people were sending him. And he said his wife is a rheumatologist and he was moving offices. And he said that his wife opened up the top drawer in his desk and it was filled with about 150 thank you notes from patients. And it was all about their self-confidence, their self-worth, and how wonderful he made them feel. And she was joking and saying, oh my God, I'm actually saving lives on a daily basis. And I probably have one of these after, being in practice for 10 years. So this is not about, some flaky aesthetic thing, right? This is about really people's confidence and their self-worth. And just remember that you are helping them transform. And in that, we're selling that transformation. If you don't believe in what you're doing and what you're selling, no matter what industry you're in, then people are not going to believe it either. I am not seeing any more questions, but that was a very good one. So, let's see. If you don't have any more questions and you did like this training, I want you to make sure that you share it with your team or another med spa that could benefit. You can always catch the replay on our YouTube channel. To get access to more free trainings that will help you grow your med spa, visit our link tree in our social bio and be sure to join us live every Wednesday, 2:30 Central Time, same place, same time. You'll find us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you do want a specialized sales training for your team, absolutely drop it in the chat, sales training, and we will set that up with you.